Hello, my name is Emmanuel Anametemfiok, and I will be speaking about Nordstrom's field expansion to Canada. Nordstrom is an American luxury department store that is known for its extensive collection of designer apparels, footwear, cosmetics, and home goods. They have about 348 locations in the United States, and they decided to expand into Canada in the year 2014. The expansion was met with, great joy and then great expectations because Canadians had experienced, buying products from Nordstrom in the US, and they had great experience because of their customer service. However, in the year 2023, the company decided to close all of its 13 locations in Canada, and these closures resulted in the loss of over 2,500 jobs. Before we delve into the reasons for Nordstrom's failed expansion into Canada, we would like to look at Canada's economic landscape. Canada boasts a robust market-oriented economy, and it ranks ninth globally with a GDP of $2.14 trillion as at 2022. The Canadian economy is market-driven, which implies that it's driven by the forces of demand and supply. Canadian economy also thrives on international trade, with imports and exports of goods and services constituting roughly one-third of the country's GDP. Canada's major trading partners are the United States, China, and then the United Kingdom. When looking at the key industries in Canada, we realize that the key industries that contribute to Canada's GDP are real estate, manufacturing, and mining, which includes quarrying and oil and gas extraction. Now we'll look at Nordstrom's market strategy. Nordstrom market strategy focused on standardization, which implies that they decided to keep their global operations simple by adopting or applying the same strategies that made them successful in the United States. They hope to leverage on their people through excellent customer service. They also hope to leverage on providing an assortment of great products that are streamlined to each customers, and they also had an extensive network of stores which made for convenient shopping. So what went wrong for them in Canada? The first thing that I identified is their misaligned strategy. Nordstrom failed to adjust to the nuances of the Canadian retail landscape, which differs greatly from the United States. Most Canadians were not willing to spend so much on luxury wares. And even those who were willing and able to afford luxury items expressed that their assortment in Canada didn't match that which was available in the United States. So what that means is that Nordstrom's product offerings in Canada was not up to the standard of what was expected based on their visit to the stores and the locations they had in the United States. Another challenge Nordstrom had in Canada was that they expanded very quickly. They had the rapid expansion. And then the issue with rapid expansion is that it becomes challenging to grasp what the customer's desires. The customer tastes are different. So for instance, the taste and then the desires of customers in Toronto are markedly different from the desires and taste of customers in a province like maybe Vancouver or Calgary. Another challenge that Nordstrom had in Canada was their failure to, have a very solid e-commerce platform. Now, Canada's widespread population distribution makes the country perfectly suited for e-commerce. While Nordstrom had extensive stores or physical location, which also comes with associated costs and expenses, they didn't properly plan for online customers. And then Canada's population is such that it's geographically dispersed. There are very wide locations between people, which made it difficult for people to actually move to those locations, as most Canadians would have preferred to shop online. This was even made worse when COVID-19 came around, and most Canadians were shopping online uh, because Nordstrom wasn't prepared or didn't have that, e-commerce IT platform. The company really suffered during the COVID period. Another issue that Nordstrom faced in Canada was uh, regulatory oversight. So Nordstrom failed to thoroughly investigate Canadian business regulations. They just believed that whatever obtained in the United States would obtain in Canada, which was so far from the truth. For instance, Nordstrom didn't account for the fact that um, government of Canada mandated that product packaging must be in both English and French, right? And they failed to grasp the fact that although US is geographically close to Canada, there are also tax implications and tariff implications that they failed to take into consideration. Another issue that Nordstrom had was, the problem of inflation. So in the year 2020, Canada experienced, inflation, which made the cost of things go up. For instance, the cost of rent, higher operational costs in terms of wages, also because of the inflation, and then it also made it difficult for them to, maintain adequate inventory, due to the cost of inflation, or due to the rising inflation rather. It made Canadian dollar that was, I think, one US dollar to one Canadian dollar. It now moved to about 1.3 Canadian dollar to one US dollar, making it difficult, making it more, expensive for Nordstrom to purchase goods, from the US, and then, align its supply chain properly. Another issue that we would discuss now is as regards the competitive environment. So Nordstrom had major competitors like Saks Fifth Avenue, Hudson Bay, and then Lowe's. We'll be looking at Hudson Bay's competitive advantage over Nordstrom. Now, Hudson Bay is a very established company in Canada, boasting about 86 stores across the country. And then what did they do that was different? They had an assortment of merchandise. They had a lot of products for customers to choose from, and they're also able to offer discounts, more quickly when compared to Nordstrom. They also had significant investments in terms of their IT. They had a strong e-commerce platform that was well suited for the Canada's widespread customer base, right? And this made the company benefit significantly during the COVID-19 pandemic. They also had a data-driven approach, which implies that they basically always sought for customer feedback, and then they put those feedback into they put those feedback into practice. In other words, when customers gave them feedback, they didn't just do away with those feedback, but they used that they utilize that feedback in aligning their product offerings, right? The graph here just shows like the increase in e-commerce sales from 2017 to 2023. We can see, even though it's not complete, that e-commerce sales steadily increased from the year 2017 down to 2023, moving from 16% to about 22% of all retail sales, right? And this was where Hudson Bay had an advantage. When you look at the Porter 5 forces, Hudson Bay, for the Canadian retail market, we see that the threat of new entries are high. We also see that the threat of substitutes are high. And so what Hudson Bay did was that they localized their strategy and ensured that they listened to their customers, to customers' feedback. And this was what enabled them, become very, very successful in Canada. Now, this slide just speaks about the customer segmentation in Canada. As we can see, Nordstrom's rapid expansion hampered its ability to understand, the different customer segments that are available in Canada. For instance, in Toronto, the customer tastes are cosmopolitan, and then they are fashion forward, and in Vancouver they are outdoorsy. In Calgary they prefer more casual and functional wears, and then in Montreal, they are trendy and then influenced by European styles. What are the lessons? The lessons that any business can learn from Nordstrom's failure is: one, when attempting to internationalize, you must take cognizance of the local customer habits. So businesses are advised that they should undertake thorough market research to understand local market regulations and customer preferences. It must also be a gradual process. In other words, expansion shouldn't be rushed, but it should be phased, allowing for adaptation and then correction of course. Now, we should also have omni-channel excellence. We Companies mustn't just be excellent in brick and mortar offerings, but they should also have a robust, e-commerce or online presence to ensure that Canadians from different provinces have access to their products. And then they must also arrange their products to ensure that it provides offerings that are localized, offerings that are tailored to meet the needs of each particular region. What is the path forward? Nordstrom's Canadian exit underscores the importance of adaptability and localization in international expansion. By learning from this experience, retailers can position themselves for success in new markets. Thank you.